Ladies and gentlemen, yes, here we are again to start another session. Oh, this time we are looking at a topic, work-life balance. Under work-life balance, I would like to explain what work-life balance means, impacts of work-life balance, and how to achieve it. Right, the man is running. What is chasing him? He's running to survive. He's running to live. But you can see the scale. The workload is actually making him to slide down. He's running. Help. Help. He's running to survive. But the workload is at the point of sliding down because the weight of the work is too much on him. But do you know, sometimes this is man-made. Sometimes this is self-imposed. Sometimes it's not exactly what we are required to do. We push ourselves to that point. We need to know our right, when to say no, and when also say my life is more important. He's running for his dear life. Let's have a look how we can save this man. And before we start, I want us to take a quiz of 5 questions, just 5 minutes. I want to ask you to produce your answers if you don't want to. Okay, we want to save that man seriously. So the quiz will be never, seldom, sometimes, often, always. Pick one of the answers. Never will be 1 point, seldom 2 points, maybe sometimes 3 points, often 4 points, and always 5 points. Question number 1. I spend 50 hours or more a week. I spend 50 hours or more a week. That does not restrict you to only your paid job. If you are a student who is working at the same time, your studying hours and your paid job all combined. If you are fully at home, we can evaluate how much time you spend taking care of the kids, cleaning, and all those things will constitute part of this 50 hours. Be sincere to yourself. Number 2, I neglect or have difficulty getting an adequate quantity and quality of sleep, exercise, hydration, and or nutrition. Yes, be very sincere to yourself. Do you have enough sleep? Enough sleep for adults is 7 hours or more. Do you exercise enough? According to recommendation, 30 minutes exercise. Hydration, a man, 2.7 liters of water. I think women is about 2 liters of water. Do you complement what goes out of your body with sufficient food? Balanced diet? Be sincere to yourself. I feel depressed, exhausted, and or overwhelmed when I think of all I have to do at home or at work. Be sincere. Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you sometimes feel this too much for me? I feel like I have little or no control over demands placed on me at work or at home. Most of us are juggling so much. Do you have control? Can you drop them off? Can you sometimes feel, no, that is too much for me, I can't? No, I am not accommodating this kind of responsibility. It's beyond me. I already have too much on my plate. I feel guilty that I'm not meeting my responsibilities at home, either as a parent or are you ahead of your work schedules? Are you able to tick all the boxes at work? Are you meeting all responsibilities before you? Let's see the evaluation of these questions. 6, number 1, the last one. I neglect taking time for myself. for recreation, relaxation, quiet time, or self-care in favor of fulfilling work and family responsibilities. Be sincere to yourself. No one will ask you to produce the result. Do you actually care for yourself? You know, you are the centerpiece, most important. If you go down, the family will go down. If you go down, a lot of things will crumble with you. Do you take time out to give yourself a treat? Do you take time out to do recreational activities? Relax. Quiet time for yourself, meditating time, self-care, especially the ladies, about the painting of fingers, the makeup. Look at yourself. Do you create time to do all of that? Now let's see the results. Add them together. Let's see. Before we go to the result, add all your scores together and find the total of your scores for me, please. Find the total of your scores. Now the results. If you are 14, the total point is 14 or less. Kudos. Congratulations. You're doing very well. But how long will that last? It doesn't mean that you should mount too much additional responsibilities on yourself because you are below the threshold. No. If you are between 15 to 23, you are barely surviving. You are almost at the point of being caught with overwhelming responsibilities. If your total score is 24 or 30, check. Meltdown is waiting to happen. And when you melt down, you won't be up there to be doing all those things you juggle at the same time. Check. You need to evaluate how much is being piled on you. What can you drop off? What are those necessities you will keep? And how will you be able to sustain what you are doing? Incredibly important. This presentation is about balancing how much time you spend working and creating time for other things in life that are as well important. Work is very important. The first thing I want to do is to establish why that balance is important. The pandemic has deepened global hunger. I could remember, for those of us from Nigeria, when the lockdown came, people were dying inside their own houses. At a point, some people felt, no, we'd rather go out there to die on the street than to die in our own houses because government did not provide anything. You've got no option but to work. There's no bad labor. Anything you do that can sustain you, anything you do, as far as it's legal, it's within the societal expectation, cleaning whatever you do, that you earn a living from it. There is no bad work. Dignity in labor. No work is even more important than the other. Absolutely no work is more important than the other. Oh, I came across a professor back home in Nigeria. He was telling us a story. And he said, there was one young man that served him. The young man served him as a cleaner in his office, cleaning around the entire compound, clean his office, particularly his office. The young man would do everything to clean his office. At a point, the professor called him and said, young man, sit down. What's your name? I want to know more about you. Why are you so diligent in this job you do? The guy said, this is where I earn my living. This is how I sustain my family. This is what I use in sponsoring my children through university. Why wouldn't I be diligent with it? And the professor realized that this man is exceptionally intelligent. I don't want to be telling too many stories. Do you know the young man today is a professor? The professor pulled him, supported him, did everything possible, gave him a better job, because the professor realized that the man is intelligent. Whatever you do, do it diligently. Do it as if your life depends on it. Do it with every power you have, every talent you have. But I'm not asking you to go and overstress yourself, because that is the essence of the presentation. Work brings respect, trust. No work, no food. Okay, delivers us from poverty and actually make us to be responsible citizens in life. And therefore, it is important we work. Sometimes, I'm very sorry, I'm not stereotyping. I'm very sorry, I'm not trying to castigate or throw stone. Sometimes I feel how people who are not working, depending on social benefits, survive in this country. The conscience, the integrity, the self-worth, how do they survive if they are able, have got the capacity to work, but decide to sit back at home to depend on social benefits? It's pretty difficult. I've not been there, so it is not my place to judge. But must we continue to work so much because it brings dignity? It brings food on our table? The answer might be no. I have 4 warning cases I want to present here. The 4 cases will balance the need for us to work. Case number 1. My academic background will not allow me to just pull up anything from the internet and present to a group of people. I respect the group of people listening to me much more than that. So I am presenting papers, a summary of papers, evidence-based papers, practice-based papers. Yeah, the first one, this was a research conducted in 2021, this year. Alarming new research shows that people working more than 54 hours a week are at major risk of dying from overwork. It is killing 750,000 people each year globally. 750,000 people overwork. Workload is the single largest risk factor for occupational disease, chronic stress, and so many other things. I give you an example here. In the US alone, over 120 people die every year as a direct result of work-related sicknesses, especially stress. Stress causes 6 different types of sicknesses we need to be aware. Heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, depression, anxiety disorder, and other sicknesses as a result of too much work. The question is, what is the maximum requirement? 39.5 a week. 39.5 a week. So once you cross that threshold, you need to check yourself. Am I doing justice to myself? The next case. I'm very sorry, especially for most of us who are working overnight. A growing body of research warns that working overnight is destroying your health. It alters more than 100 key proteins in the blood, including those influencing blood sugar, energy metabolism, and immune functions. It causes sicknesses such as diabetes, obesity, and certain cancers. If you are working overnight, we need to be slightly careful. I know The nature of certain jobs in this country require us to do so, but regulate it, please. Regulate it. It's only the living that works. Regulate it. I know so many friends around me, because the overnight shift is slightly more expensive, or maybe, they earn more from the overnight shift than that of the day shift. They decided to go for the overnight shift. How much extra? How much extra can you make from the overnight shift? If you can, please regulate it. I know of some persons working 7 times a week, 7 nights. We need to know that it destroys certain proteins in our blood that are very important functional elements in our body. So we need to look after ourselves. I know I heard a story about one young man from Africa. I will not mention the country. This guy was working day and night. In fact, he had no home. After the night shift, he will go to the loo, freshen up in there. Freshen up, there was actually not shower. Clean up there, that's the best way to put it. Clean up there and start the day shift. What happened? He died in a tram. He died in a tram. And when they trace him back home, they realize that he has bundles of money kept in his house. He wasn't having documentation to live in this country, and therefore he decided to keep the money in his house. Where will he spend the money? Again, I sat down and begin to evaluate my life. I'm as guilty as anyone else when we're talking about overworking. Some of us, we are working to save money for our children. Some of us, we are working to build mansions for our children, working to buy the best of cars. I could remember the car my grandfather used. Today, it's like a toy. If somebody forced me to enter the car, I won't. The house my grandfather built in the village, story building, most popular man in the village. If today they force me to live in that house, I won't. So in the same way, some of us are thinking, yes, I will do everything possible, save for our children. They've got their own life to live. Some of the mansions you think are mansions today will be absolutely nothing tomorrow. Why do you have to kill yourself? Secondly, we need to also consider the fact that they are human beings like you. They've got their own life. Whatever you save is brilliant. You set them off, but allow them to be creative, to develop a life for themselves. You cannot live your own life and live the life of your children. If working too much is to build a life for your grandchildren, I think we need to checkmate what we do, because life first. There is nothing as precious as life. Third warning, stress. Stress comes as a result of the number of things we juggle. Emotional stress, we have physical stress, we have all kinds of stress. Stress increases the heart rate and blood pressure. Stress, continuous stress, we call it chronic stress, destroys your immune system. Thank God to Dr. Ola, who said, oh, there is nothing as important as you. Anything at all that will break your immune system, we have to stop. We have to block it. Continuous stress destroys your immune system. Check. Continuous stress is a disturbance to your digestive system. If you continue to stress for a long period of time, digestive system, very important system in your body, will be distorted. And that will cause sicknesses, problems in our life. Like we've demonstrated on here, initially stress on the onset is not bad. It encourages the immune system. It boosts the immune system, not for too long, but chronic brings down the immune system. We're talking about COVID-19. We're talking about COVID-19. We know the number of BAME community members that died. So many of them. And I know there are a lot of research out there trying to find out why. And I know most of them are thinking it's as a result of traits of members of the BAME community. I doubt so. I don't have a confirmatory statement here, but I doubt so. My thinking, I might be wrong, debatable. My thinking is we don't rest as much as the black folk, as the white folks. Me as a classroom teacher, when I return from work after marking my book, do I sit down there and take time for myself? No, I do some other things. For some of us, one job is not enough for us. We do two, we do three. Stress. And when your immune system is low as a result of stress, it gives room for the virus to multiply. Like the story I was telling in the first presentation. During the pandemic, especially when it was at the peak, you think the nurses and the doctors, we don't have enough nurses and doctors to man the hospitals in this country. We need to rethink. Most of them went off the ladder, the radar. They went off because they know the implications. And we from the BAME community, who were the powerful ones, the untouchables, we were out there, we are the frontliners, we were out there. Could you believe PPEs were not available in most hospitals? We were there. Sometimes we'll come back from work in the morning before we realize we are out there again. And when the impact of the virus came, it hit the BAME community a lot harder than the white community. Because we do not look after ourselves as much as these other guys. I'm sorry, I'm stereotyping here, I know. But forgive me, because I just want us to realize that does it actually what's the stress we go through. Warning number 4. Parents' long working hours negatively impact on family life. Is not disputable. No child care can look after your children as much as you can. No third party will build that kind of relationship with your child. I tell you, I am as guilty as any other person, like I said. Sometimes my very little boy will stand up to say, you can't do that to me. You are not my parents. And so sometimes I watch him from a distance and I laugh. These kids know what they are doing. They know where their respect lies. Yes, even though you teach them properly, they know there is a limit of any third-party control over them. If you are working long-time hours, no time for your children, it has serious implication on them. First, reduce time that you spend with them. The quality bonding won't be there. 2, sleep deprivation, stress, impact on health and irritability. When you are irritated within your family, does it actually select who to release it on. No. When you are irritated, you can burst or you can release it on anybody as a result of stress. Less energy for parenting. Like I was saying, parents, we have so much role to play in the life of our children as an educator, especially that of the education. How many of us sit down to read novels with our children? How many of us sit down to do homework with them? How many of us checkmate what they do after the day job, after their day in school? It also brings about negative behavior of children. Good example. There was one video I watched. This police officer, a Yoruba man, was begging. In fact, the man was in tears. He was using Yoruba language begging. Wives, especially those from Africa, don't drive your children, don't drive your husband out of the home. Don't. Do everything possible to contain him, because you won't be able to control the children effectively. Okay, if we evaluate the level of knife crime in London and all kinds of social vices in other parts of the country, especially committed by people from the BAME community, we will understand. And most of them are from single parents, single parenting homes. When the single parent is always out there working to sustain the family, what time will that parent have to properly educate them, instill values in them? No time. Overworking will significantly impact on couples' relationship as well. Therefore, I think we need to checkmate the excess of working hours. I know the money is good. I know much is expected from us, but it is important you check the impact of that on your family, on your health, and so on. What's work-life balance? I feel from the very first slide, the dignity of work and the four warning cases I've given, I know there is no doubt we all need to balance it. You work, but you also create time for yourself, the family life, and your friends. What's work-life balance? Work-life balance is meaningful and balanced daily achievements and enjoyment in all parts, all aspects of a person's life. A person is made up of family, his work, friends, and yourself. If one side is going down, it will affect the overall performance of the human being. All sides need to be balanced. It's an oxymoron anyway. A vital factor in achieving making sure that work does not overwhelm or dominate you. Very important. We need to check situations where the workload is dominating every other aspect of our life. Like I've said earlier, achievement and enjoyment. So bringing up decent children is an achievement. Having a happy family is an achievement. Having a self-worth is an achievement. Taking care of yourself is an enjoyment, is an achievement. Having good friends around you is an achievement. Life in this side of the world is very lonely. Sometimes I would sit down home and begin to evaluate, assuming I was back home. I will be sitting around with friends. We will be existing. Sometimes you invite some people who come around, they sit around you and they crack all kinds of jokes. You'll laugh and laugh and laugh. Where is that opportunity in this side of the world? Sometimes we have a triangular movement: work, home, and once in a while, church. Work, home, once in a while, church, no time for ourselves. We need to have an enjoyment and achievement in these four spectrums of life. That is when we say we have work balance. Yes, work balance is a contradicting phrase. Work balance, quite contradictory. If you work your life, the other life bit's supposed to go there. If you want to build on the life bit, the work supposed to go there. Contradiction. So we have that responsibility of weighing the both options. Unlike the very first picture in my first slide, the workload is actually making the man to slide and come, let me swallow you. Work want to swallow the man, and the man is running for his dear life because it's becoming too much. Work-life balance means 50% of your time at work, calculated 24 hours, and 50% of your time at home. Some of us, when we finish from work, we carry the work home, we carry on, we extend. We won't stop. We carried on, we continued. I know there's one philosopher, of course, it's one of my philosophies as well. For you to survive in this country, you have to be better than them. For you to conveniently have job security in this country, you have to work in a way that they will see you as somebody. Yes, we cannot just discard this one. This guy is valuable to us. I remember when I started teaching, my very first year of teaching, I will finish teaching in the day, come back home, and carried on maybe after dinner, sometime until 2 a.m. in the morning. I will go to work the next day, killing the self for a work. Dr. Ola said, no one is indispensable. Completely. If anything happened to you, life will carry on. At most, you will have just maybe 1 minute. 1 minute. And flowers. She said so. We need to check. Women want more work balance than men. Why? Here, all genders have got this privilege of working and contributing to the family coffers. That when women got back home, the cleaning of the house is there. Cooking is there. Taking care of the kids is there. Doing all kinds of things is there. Men, we need to wake up. Oh. We need to really wake up. If your wife is working as much as you do, not even though she's not working as much as you do, please, she will need support. She will need support, otherwise she'll be overwhelmed. Work-life balance is synonymous with work-family balance. These days, the concept is work-life integration. We will explain a few things about that. Now, employers, employees, all of us are gradually having that awareness of work-life balance. Government is recognizing work-life balance. Charities are recognizing work-life balance. So a week has been set aside for work-life balance campaign to educate people on work-life balance. The next one is coming up October 10th to 14th, 2022. Mark that date in your diary. It's not my specialty. It's people who are specialists in this area might give us enough information to furnish us, to educate us, to enlighten us, to bring our awareness to the limelight that actually I am killing myself for nothing. Sometimes when I sit down and evaluate how much we do and what we take home, does it worth it? I could remember in the year 2003, 2003, when I came to this country, I came as a scholarship student. We were deprived from working because no one wanted to employ us. Nobody wanted to employ us. We tried everything. First, they will ask you, bring your national insurance. How can somebody who hasn't worked got national insurance? Then next they will say, bring a recommendation. We were very new and the parts of the world were landed in this country. There were only very few black people who will give you a recommendation. So we were deprived from working for over 3 months. Eventually, work came. And when work came, there was a time I said to myself, what I will do is I will do day and night. Come on, this is the moment the work is available there. I will do day and night. I did. I worked for over 54 hours. And when I stopped, I could not concentrate. In class, I couldn't concentrate. I could not sleep. Guess what? I was thinking the salary will compensate it. When my salary came, I was mad. We were on just basic minimum wages. I was mad. I got far less than what I was expecting because of emergency tax.
Deadly taxation. It is well.
Emergency tax. More than half of my money. I said to myself, what? Is this why I almost killed myself? From that very moment, I said to myself, I will not do day and night again. If it is hunger, let it be. A friend once told me, John, when you get to a certain level in life, additional work is wastage because it will take so much out of you that it will bring in very little. When you climb the salary ladder to a certain level, just is it 40,000 pounds? Every extra you do, you share it equally with the government. At that stage in life, additional responsibilities because it's leadership position mount so much pressure on you that everything you earn above that 40, you are sharing it equally with the government. Why do we have to kill ourselves for what is considered as a leakage? Injection is small, talking in economic terms. What you are injecting into the economic benefits of your family is small compared to what is going out of it. Remember, you are the backbone of the family. Remember, you are the centerpiece of the family. Now, so much energy is taken out of you. Little is coming to the family. Why do we have to kill ourselves? We need to checkmate it. Now, I want to look at a few impacts of stress. We've just established that working very long hours causes stress. We need to think of what are the business impact of stress. Everything I've been talking about is about the impact of stress on you, the employee. What about the business impact? In the year 2014, research conducted 2013-14. I looked for recent statistics. I couldn't get one. Over $300 billion globally was wasted. In fact, that is 2006. The figure is expected to be far higher than that. Costs on companies as a result of stress. Research shows that 60 to 90% of doctors' visits are stress-related. 60%. The NHS, the government is spending so money on. 60% as a result of stress-related. Right, 45% of employees with high stress have their kin connected with their union, represented by their union to defend them. And employees with stress-related problems in their place of work are likely, twice likely, to disengage and be productive in your place of work. Look at it from this perspective. Work-related stress. First of all, it can encourage unhealthy lifestyle practices. Turnover might suddenly increase, yeah, because you are forcing people to work abnormal hours. Litigations will increase in case of the slightest problem. Litigations like, this country, the law works. The law is there. Anybody can invoke and ask the law to stand up and do something for you. Litigations will increase. Your job satisfaction will drop. Once job satisfaction drops, we know what happened. Productivity drops. Absenteeism increases. Sometimes you just go to the doctor, tell the doctor, I am stressed. Doctor will sign you off for a week or 2, 3, 4 even. Who is losing? You, the company, you are losing. You are duty bound to pay these guys. You are losing. So stressing your employees, getting too much out of your employees, forcing them to meet certain deadlines, you will be at the losing end as well. We need to be vigilant as a company. Health insurance claims will also increase. Short, long-term disabilities will increase. Depression will increase. How can you have productive employees when all indicators of maximization of one's potential is on the decrease? And all potentials that will enable the person to be very effective and productive in a company is on the increase. So work-life balance is not just a problem for me and you, the employee. It's also a serious problem to the companies. Job conditions that may lead to stress. Conflicting or uncertain job expectations. Irregular job schedules. Lack of participation by workers in decision-making because management is constantly dumping things on them. Poor communication in the organization. Lack of family-friendly policies. Heavy workload. The list continues. Now, I tell you, job security is a serious one. Anyone that is unsecured, they would like to put in the extra hours just to sustain their job. The list carries on. And we see within our environment, there are so many circumstances where people can have stress from work. Some other factors that may cause stress. The list is there. I think you can see my slide. Death of a spouse or partner, divorce, marital separation, jail term, personal injury. So many of them. All of them are there. Sex difficulties, pregnancy, changing in family members' health. All of them. These are not even work-related. Some of them, most of the things we face at place of work, we also have a set of other things to face within the family circle. So it is important we evaluate what can you take in from your place of work in addition to what you already have at home. People react differently to stress. Some could be positive, others very negative, and it affects us in different ways. There are some people who strive when they are under pressure. There are others who crumble straight away. Like I said earlier, turnover might quickly just be pushed up a little bit. As a result, you are pressuring people to get job done. 60% of accidents on job are as a result of stress. Employees working 11 hours a day or more were 67% more likely to have a heart attack. I know, no warning, heart attack, no warning. Cardiovascular diseases all over the place as a result of stress. How do you know that you are out of balance? Critically important, how do we know that actually is becoming too much? Sometimes we don't know. Let's have a look at physical, emotional, and personal symptoms. Headache, stomach upset, sleep disturbance, change in appetite, muscle tensions, fatigue, heart palpitation, physical signs. I think I have got to that point where I need to sit back and not continue to work. You preserve your life, you love your life. At a point, you need to re-examine what is happening. Emotionally, you will be depressed, anxiety, angry unnecessarily, powerless. Sometimes we feel, I want to take this away, but you can't. Your life depends on it. Sometimes you feel, why are they making decisions and imposing decisions on me? I am on the receiving end. You are so powerless. You are on the receiving end. You can't do anything about it. And you feel emotionally stressed. You're finding it very difficult to get things done. You get irritated, difficult making positive decisions about your life. Remember, you've got to that level where you need to sit down and re-examine your life or the work. Personal. Yes, a lot of missed opportunities. Talk to me about missed opportunities. I enjoy having great time with friends. I enjoy sometimes going out there playing football. But do I have that frivolity? Some people say frivolity of time. No. I don't have that time. I tell you what, my little son is only about 5 years old. Last week said to me, Dad, I don't want to be a parent. I said, why? He said, no, I don't want to be a parent, too much responsibilities. You only 5 years old. You only 5 years old is telling me you don't want to be a parent. I told him, guy, there's so much to enjoy being a parent. Okay. Job situations sometimes stop us from being the good parents we want to be, from having a great time with my family, with your family, from having a wonderful moments. So when we see all these symptoms, all these signs, they are warning signs that it's a bit too much on you. Stress is knocking at the door. Do not allow it to overwhelm you. Do not allow it to spoil who you are. We can see a lot of personalities that has been turned upside down as a result of stress. And we've seen a lot of potentials destroyed as a result of stress. If we can see the signs from a distance, if we can see the signs miles away and think of what we can do to control it, it will be wonderful. I want to think of how we can address some of these, okay? How you can improve on your work-life balance in the second section of the presentation. Moderator, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it all right for us to take 10 minutes?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Thank you.
So we'll be back in 3:21. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Doc, I think you can continue now, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's look for different ways. Look for different ways we can actually improve our work-life balance. The first one I want to look at is different types of rest. Do we know I didn't know much about this until I started preparing for this presentation? There are 7 different ways you can rest. We've got them here. Physical rest. That is the quantity and the quality of sleep you have. Sometimes we will sleep 8, 7, 10 hours, but we feel very tired the next day. The quality of sleep. It's not just about the quantity of sleep. The quality of sleep is as well very important. I am one of those persons who can't have a nap in the afternoon. But I tell you what, since when I discovered the rest is exceptionally important, I am forcing myself to have naps now in the afternoon, once in a while. Physical rest. Mental rest. Oh, I'm so guilty on this one. If something is so dear to me, something is so important to me, if I keep my eyes on something, I can never turn off. In my sleep, I will dream about it. In my dream, I will dream about it. In all circumstances, I will be thinking about it, how I can bring that into limelight. Mental unrest. The mental rest is important. When you want to rest, it is important you switch off. Completely switch off and have quality sleep. Sensory rest. That is exceptionally important in this generation. Computer time, screen time. Some of us, when we are sleeping, a beep on our phone will wake us up. Fear of missing out. We want to know everything. We find it very difficult. We are resting. We find it difficult to distance ourselves from our phones and other social media. Sensory rest. We need to rest our senses. When we sleep, it is recommended you turn off everything that will wake the sense organs. Turn off the lights. Turn off all the lights. Turn off your phones. Yes, I beg you, turn off the phone and have a quality sleep. Oh, I'm sorry, I tell you, there was a time I was into this Bitcoin business. I think the worst time ever. When you put money into the business, your mind is 100% awake because anything can happen within 24 hours. Lack of sensory sleep or sensory rest. Creative rest. Creative rest is when you want to think outside the box, think something creative. Creative rest is like taking a stroll. Okay, identify with nature, appreciate nature. Your creativity will come back. That's a creative rest. Emotional rest. Sometimes we are surrounded by people who cause us so much stress. Emotional rest is like identifying with people that will bring you that moment of positive fulfillment, that moment of brilliant relationship, emotional rest. Activate the positive emotions in you, positive hormones in you, emotional rest. And maybe I will possibly talk briefly about spiritual rest. Disconnecting from the physical being, going into the spiritual being. Okay, that is where we talk about discernment, we talk about communicating with the spirit being of you. Not always, but once in a while, meditating. Yeah, brilliant. That is the word I've been looking for. Meditating, spiritual rest. All these kind of rest are very important. We have to improve on our quality of all these kinds of rest. Identify the source of stress. Okay? If you can identify a problem identified is a problem half solved, according to the saying. Is it the amount of work or deadline? Talking about deadline, if you are a student, I beg you, start preparing for your exams as soon as your academic year starts. Do not accumulate them. Accumulating is dangerous. Procrastination is dangerous. Dealing with them on time. Give you another story. My final year in the University of Benin, I finished from Uniben, Nigeria. Final year in the University of Benin, we had a friend. Oh, he was all over campus, a very bright young man. He could sit down and do a lot. So final year, 55% of the GPA is allocated to the final year. When he realized, he said, okay, don't worry, within this 1 month to the exam, I will see what I can do. I will collapse everything I have to prepare for this exam. He did. He went to the point where he has to put a basin of water, cold water, put his legs on it. This boy was reading day and night. When we were taking the final exams, it sustained that until all the exams, until the final exam. Final exam, as we were waiting for our supervisor, he fell asleep. And when the lecturer came, the lecturer warned all of us surrounding him not to say a word to this boy. And the exam started. We all started writing, forgot about him completely. All of us were battling to graduate from Uniben. We started writing. And when we completed the paper, imagine final year students completing their final paper. We were all jumping up, screaming. He woke up at that point. Lecturers collected his papers and he left. What happened? He said, we said you've just missed your exam. Why didn't you guys wake me? Are you mad? He was crying. Compulsory paper. Without it, you cannot graduate. Not first semester, second semester. He cried. He cried and he vowed that it will never happen again. From henceforth, anything that has got to do with academics, he will start on time. He repeated 1 year when all of us graduated and left school. Not that he does not have the potential to graduate with us. Wasted 1 year because of bad planning, accumulating the workloads. Amount of work and deadline can cause a lot of stress. Some people, the way we relate with people, if you have relationship with people that are always bringing you down, causing you stress, discard it. Oh, office politics. We are living in the midst of people who are very diplomatic. Office politics can be a serious cause of stress. Ongoing change. Anytime we have leaders, I worry about it. Oh, I am fully accepted. I have been embraced in this setting. Will this new leader actually embrace me as much as the previous leader? Yes, I worry about it as well. Sources of stress in life, outside of work, marriage, finances, too many commitments. Identify them. An identified problem is half solved. Stress management techniques, I think I will stop here so that I can take any question. There are different ways you can manage it. In the morning, I talked about positive self-talk. Sometimes when you are overwhelmed, sometimes you feel it's too much. Say it to yourself. Say it to yourself in your mind. You can do it. You are stronger than the problem in front of you. You, I know, You've overcome circumstances that is tougher than this. You can do it. You are stronger than this. I tell you, before any external exam of my students, I ask them to do the best thing, what is best to them. Number one, I will ask the ladies, look at the mirror and appreciate yourself. Tell yourself, I am so beautiful, I am elegant. Positive self-talk. Some people, I will ask them, when you are in the bathroom, start singing the best of songs, the one you want to listen to. Bringing yourself in that positive mode. Like the boys, I will say, come on, you have to do your chest in a way that you are the macho man. All of them will be laughing. I know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to bring them into that positive mindset before the exam. You are at your best when you're positive about what is ahead of you. But slightest thing can crumble you if you are negative. Discard the negative thoughts and bring in the positive thoughts. I came across a presenter who said he has compartments, negative compartment and positive compartments. Rarely, sometimes when he wants to maybe improve on his life, he will open more of the positive compartments. The things that will make him to feel, yes, you can do it, you are very good at it, you've done it before. Things that will make him to remind him to say, wow, you are wonderful, you are special, you've added value to so many lives. It will open that positive compartments. And since after listening to that presenter, I've decided to keep cards. Before, I never appreciated cards. You give me a card, the next day it's in the bin. But after listening to that young man, I felt actually it is very important. The days I am down in my spirit, I will open the positive compartment, all the cards, and begin to read all the positive things people have written about me. And that will rejuvenate my spirit. That negativity can be subdued with those positive those items you have in the positive compartments. Emergency stress stoppers. Walk away, take a walk, okay? Deep breath before you speak. Find your joy listening to music like what I said. Take a class or read. Read what makes you to relax. Read about the problems of some other people. You will realize that yours is less. Why do you want to kill yourself when you know people have encountered more difficult problems and they came out of it? Yours is not unique to you. You are not the only one who's facing problems. A lot more has gone through problems. And therefore, you must not allow your problems to swallow you. You are much more than the problem. If you can surround yourself with this kind of positive pep talks and so on, significantly, it will improve. Set limits and learn how to say no. Like we work in the midst of very diplomatic people. How could you help to do this? You are really very good at this. I think you are. I have a lot on my table. I will let you know when I have the freedom, when I have the space to accommodate it. Meanwhile, can I focus on the few bits I have on my table first? They won't say no. Learn to unplug and leave work like I've been saying. Don't forget or skip your vacation. We are not very good at this. I'm sorry, but I know we are not very good at it. The whites will not play with their vacation. The whites will not save money at the expense of their vacation. We should learn to spend our vacation outside our living environment, somewhere slightly different away from home. Even though you have to spend it with other friends, please do so. Stay away from the environment, get refreshed, and come back to start all over. Money is not everything. We came with nothing, and with nothing, we will return. So let's not sacrifice our well-being for saving for money. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you. I was paying so much and I brought attention to everything you were saying and also assessing myself at the same time. I wouldn't lie to you. The rest aspect of your teaching, caught me somehow. I was asking myself, do I rest? How do I rest? It's more than just being at home, sleeping and all of that. And please, I will kindly ask you also to send this files to the slide to our president so that if anyone needs probably to go back to these teachings, they could probably have access to them again. Because I think it's very, very important that we should have these teachings in our archives. There's a question right here, Doctor, and Mr. Joseph is saying, my questions are regards to sensory rest. If phones are completely switched off, how then can one deal with an emergency, especially if someone is trying to call or reach out for an alertness or an unforeseen event?
Very important question. Moderation. Answer is moderation. And secondly, we have landlines. I am as guilty as anyone. My landline is not active. I'm paying for the line. I'm paying for the line, but my landline is not active. Text messages will not wake you up through the landline. If there's an emergency, if you cultivate the habit of using landline, you cultivate the habit of taking calls through your landline. When there's an emergency, they will alert you through your landline. Alternative, well, yeah, I think that's the way I will go about it. Because these days, your Facebook is on, Twitter is on, so many other things are on. When you are sleeping, there are people out there who are awake, who are sending messages. And if the alert is coming through your phone every now and then, it will be difficult to have a quality rest.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Mr. Joseph, if you're there.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Doug, yeah, do you have more questions?
Sir.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. It's not everyone that has a landline. So, like, I don't have one. I've got just a mobile phone. So, in such situations, what do I do?
Yeah, that might be a very difficult one. Do you use broadband?
Yes.
Okay. Most
But at the moment,
yes.
No.
At the moment that you don't have a broadband, at the moment that you don't have a landline, we will encourage you to use the phone. But subsequently, it is I think it is recommended. It's very important that when you have proper broadband, try to include landline, because the amount of money you pay for your broadband includes landline most times. Like I said earlier, I've got landline. I pay the same money for the broadband and the landline, but I'm not using the landline. So as I'm talking to people, in the same way I am pointing 4 fingers back to myself, I need to activate my landline and use it in case of emergency. Thank you.